Hi, it's James here at Somerset Grill HQ, and today I'm going to be cooking for you a Somerset grilled whole pork loin with barbecued carrots, spring onions, purple sprouting broccoli and some roasted on the vine tomatoes with a little bit of burnt lemon. We're going to be doing it all on the Somerset grill. We've already got the fire going. Today we're using ash. We can either have it in the hobbit logs or you can have it in the bigger ones. We're going to be using both sides of the grill today, so the key is to build a really good bed of embers. So we've already got it started. You want a really nice deep bed of embers. Grab your trusty ember rake, give it a good wiggle. See how those embers are just falling down there now? That's exactly what you want. Before I start cooking, I always come out an hour before, just light my fire, let it get going, go back in, do a little bit of prep, come back out, refill the logs, and just see where you are. What you want here is a nice deep bed of embers, evenly covering both sides. So you're probably about 10 minutes away from being able to cook. I went to my local butcher and asked for a whole pork loin. I didn't get a butcher because I thought I could do that for you, but you could just ask them to take the skin off and just bone it out, and you'll be left with that loin strip. As butchery goes, this is pretty simple, and I'd recommend giving it a go. As long as you've got a nice flexible butchery knife, you can just run the knife along the bones and you just tease it out, and eventually you just lift it off like that. One of the reasons I like doing it myself is because you end up with this bit as well, which you'd recognize from like a slice of bacon, and it's really nice on the grill, and it has all the fat in it, so that's the sort of moisture you get when you eat it, which is so delicious. Just need to trim a little bit of this off, just a little bit of the sinew. For me, this is perfect. We don't need to trim it anymore. We just need to take the skin off the back. Okay, so you might be asking why I'm not making crackling with this, which is a totally fair question. It's because I'm going to cook this loin quickly on a high heat. You can take this piece of skin, score it, salt it, and leave it in the fridge overnight. And if you roast it in a hot oven, or you can even put it on a hot pan with a weight on top of it, it will turn into amazing crackling. There you go. There we go. Some really nice embers coming down there. And this is it. This is what you're cooking on. These things here are what you're cooking on. You're not cooking on direct flame, you're cooking on the radiated heat from the embers. We just need to get the V grills nice and hot, so when we put the pork loin on, it doesn't stick. So just wind it right down so it's as close as it'll get, and just leave it a few minutes to get nice and hot. Very handy little slot for your ember rake. Right there. Just drop a little bit of oil on, and if the oil starts to smoke, then you know your grill's hot enough. If you use butter, if it starts to sizzle and burn, then you know your grill's ready. We're going to oil the loin, and then we're going to put some salt on it and some black pepper on it, and then we'll chuck it on the grill. Just rub that in. Very generous with the salt, very generous. And we'll just, we are keeping this quite plain today, but if you wanted to put fennel seeds or cumin seeds, some coriander seeds, bit of smoked paprika on it, today we're just going to keep it nice and plain with the olive oil and the flaky sea salt and the cracked black pepper. We're going to start meat side down just to get a nice bit of colour on it. That sizzle is the sound you want to hear. That means your grill is hot enough. While it's cooking, we won't let this time go to waste. We'll use it to season this side. We don't need the oil on this side because the fat will start to render and all of the salt will stick in the fat. We're just going to leave this for 3 or 4 minutes just to get a bit of nice colour. Then we'll lift it, turn it round so we get the nice crisscrosses from the V grills, and then we'll lift it up and let it cook out. While it's cooking out, we'll make all the sides. Just have a little peek, see how the colour's coming on. Yeah, nice. There we go. So the grill's hot enough because we've got this lovely browning already. We'll just leave that for a few more minutes. For me, this is a really good demonstration of two of my favourite things about the Somerset grill. One, you've got so much surface area, you can just cook an entire pork loin. And two, if you think it's getting too hot, just wind it up. and you go from 400 degrees to 40 degrees in a couple of turns. And just, you can buy yourself some time if you feel like anything's going wrong. Nothing's going wrong with this. We're going to bring it back down and we're just going to turn it over. Another brilliant feature of the Somerset grills, you notice it's quite a fatty joint. Normally when you're barbecuing something like this, you'd be rendering a lot of fat that would be dripping down onto the coals, and you get a lot of flare-ups, and the flare-ups, you end up just with acrid tasting meat because you get all the soot from the fat and it's just not very nice. With this, with the V grills, all the fat just runs off into this tray. You get no flare-ups. The colour is amazing. Just look at that. It's so brilliant. And then we'll flip it over, get a little bit of colour on the fat, and then we'll wind it up and just leave it to cook out. Because what we're not going to do is cook it hard and fast for the entire cook, because we don't have as much control. What we want to do is be able to control the heat that's going into it, which is one of the things the Somerset grill does really well, because to control the heat, you just do that. We'll just flip it over. That is so pretty, look at that. Amazing. So now we're cooking the fat side down. It's going to render really fast. All of that fat's going to start pouring out of it. So we're just going to raise it up a little bit. We'll just keep it here for a while and see how it goes. Just going to give it a poke, see how it is. Still very much raw in the middle, so we're just going to cook that for a bit longer. There we go, got some nice colour there. Flip it over that way. We'll just drop that down a little bit. So all that lovely rendered fat is just being caught in this little drip tray, so it all stays nice and clean. You see it rendering off here. Look at that. Oh, so delicious. So while the pork loin's cooking, we're going to do all the veg for the sides. So I'm just going to prep the other side of the grill. Had some really nice embers building on this side. So we're just getting there. Look at all this stuff. Drop this down. There we go. And while I'm here, I'll just reach under there and grab these as well. And just restock. Got these really lovely carrots. I don't take the tops all the way down because you want a nice bit of green on the top for some decoration. We'll add a little bit of olive oil to these. And that's it. We won't peel them. A little bit of salt. We'll just give that a little mix. Because we've got the ember maker at the back, that's kicking out quite a lot of heat, which is just starting to cook these bits at the edges. You see how much it's contracted while it's cooked, which is really handy. Drop them straight onto the coals, something I love doing. It just gives an instant bit of sort of colour. Cooking should be fun. We'll chuck those on there like that. They won't take very long. Slightly longer tongs so I don't burn my hands. Lovely. A nice bit of colour. I really like the colour on the pork loin now, so I'm just going to bring it up. I'm just going to let it cook out at a slightly lower temperature, just because I need a bit more control now. It's approaching that point where it's cooked, and we don't want to overcook it because it will dry out. So because I want more control, I'm just going to lift it, and I'm going to temperature probe it, see where we are, and then assess where the cook is from there. Yeah. Starting to feel quite bouncy, which means it's starting to cook all the way through. Just take these off. Oh, it's quite hot. Oh, let 'em hand. Massive pork loin on one side, your veg on the other. You can keep it separate as well. If you've got any vegetarian friends, you've got plenty of room. It's not a concern. So we're just going to trim the ends off these spring onions. We'll just pop them in there. Again, just with a little bit of oil. Nothing I ever cook on the Somerset grill is that complicated, because it is a piece of kit that allows you to cook great food really simply. If you can cook spring onions, pork loins and carrots in your kitchen at home, you can do it on the Somerset grill. We're just letting those carrots cook out of the back. Don't need to fiddle with them too much. And with these spring onions, we just want to bring the sweetness out of them. A little colour on the outside and just activate that sweetness that's inside. They essentially steam inside their own skins. So we just want to let that happen. No big intervention there. It's a very handy bit of kit, little thermopen. With pork loin like this, we're looking for about 60-degree internal temperature. That's centigrade, obviously, not Fahrenheit. At the moment, this is sort of late 40s, early 50s, so we've probably got another 20-25 minutes there, which is great. Just chop those woody ends off. Let's give those a good mix into the oil. Oh, yeah, they are done. These can just go in this little space here. Just a huge amount of surface area to cook with. It's really lovely. This broccoli is going to take no time at all. Obviously scaled the veg cook because the carrots take the longest, followed by the spring onions and then the purple sprouting broccoli at the end, which we're just going to brown rather than cook all the way through, because you want to retain some of that crunch in the stalk. So we'll just let that gather a little bit of colour. We'll just hold that at a temperature for us to be able to eat it at while we just finish cooking out the pork loin. This is up to temperature now. It's up to 60 degrees. So I'm going to take it off and rest it. I'm going to rest it for at least 10 minutes. So I want to let it relax as it rests, so you've got a much better texture when you slice it. Very clever piece of design. That little arrow shaped thing is exactly the same size as the V-grills. So if you want to clean your grills after you've used them, just rub it along there. We're going to dress all this veg with some lemon. I like to just burn the lemons a little bit. Just takes the real acridness off of the lemon juice. So you get that sharpness, but it also has a sweetness. And the final bit of garnish is these lovely on the vine cherry tomatoes, which we're just going to blister straight on the coals. It's very obvious when they're done because they just start to blacken all the way around, but they should hold together so you can just lift them straight off. This is where not peeling them has served you really well, because the skin has protected that lovely flesh inside. You see that? Really, such a great colour. So just cooking the carrots like that, they're so sweet, really amazing, and they're quite fudgy. We're just going to drop the spring onions in as well, mix those two together. So a bit more oil, and a few pinches of chili flakes, another twist of pepper, just a little bit more sea salt. These are ready now. We've just given them a little bit of colour and made sure they retain the stalky crunch. And those tomatoes are starting to look pretty good. Just kind of burns the juice, starts to caramelise it and really brings the sweetness out. So it's not about cooking them all the way through, it's just about breaking them down a little bit and bringing that sweetness out. That look of stuff that's been on a barbecue. So this has had a good 10-15 minute rest. Now we are ready to slice it. And of course, having cooked it, I get to try the first bit. It seems every time I do this, I say that is the best thing you can cook on a Somerset grill. But maybe that's a reflection of the grills. But that is so good. The charred edges, that little crispy texture you get because you get these little burnt bits around the outside, with the flavour of the wood and the smoke, and the really delicious pork. Look how juicy that is. Man, it all just comes together so well. Accentuate the fact that we have grilled all this veg. Underneath that burnt skin is some lovely fudgy carrot. Cover it all with some of that nice burnt lemon. Just pop on your cherry tomatoes. And a little bit more oil, a little bit more salt. And there you go. Somerset grilled whole pork loin with barbecued carrots, spring onions, purple sprouting broccoli, and some roasted on the vine tomatoes with a little bit of burnt lemon.